people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them.
And in what way are you different?
This influences my thinking and consequently my actions.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do. And this influences my thinking and consequently my actions. Yes,
And what is that?
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them.
And in what way?
Yo. Homies, what to do? We're gonna do some quick tests, making sure everything's good to go. Let me know if you can hear. Quick test. Alright, man, open up the chat. Let's see what's good in the hood. Alright, cool. Homies, what do it do today? This is feedback live stream number 53. We only have about one more submission remaining, but all the new submissions will be in next week's stream, so go into my Discord and submit. That will be a good time for you. We're going to go over sound design, composition, song arrangement, mixing, mastering, overall quality and clarity of your track. Let's get it. Up first, I should say. we're going to get into Smoke 2.0. And this is going to be from, where is it here? Higher Than the Drop. Vincent himself. As you know, they're in the know. You know? Go ahead and get it done. Welcome.
Don't want the smoke.
Nice. There we go, man. You know what it is and what it ain't. You know what it is. We got Smoke 2.0. I have for sure heard this before because I really like one of these sections where it like winds down, winds back up. For some reason, this flow is just so gangster to me, man. That shit gangster as hell. That's some OG trap shit. You know what I'm saying? But you make variations of this later on that, you know, don't hit as hard as this one. So simple, less is more. You know, less is more. Simplification usually is a good thing. And when you have something nice, you want to keep it simple. Also in the drop, it seems like there's some sounds that are just not layered enough. They're not thick enough, not full enough. Now, the sub in general is pretty, you can almost not feel it. Like there's lows, obviously. Maybe if we had a subwoofer available, but most people don't have a sub. You know, they're listening on their iPhone. So we use these upper harmonics and we use different techniques so that the sub can be like actually playing through the iPhone speaker. Now we're perceiving it to be playing, like we think a sub is there when actually we don't feel those low frequencies, but we kind of hear them, we kind of perceive they're there, and that's really the main goal. Right now the lows are there. Maybe, like I said, if we had a subwoofer in the car, it would be activated, but we need a little bit more lows, more upper harmonics, so that we can fill in those upper mid-range frequencies like 100 to 400 with clean harmonics from the sub. I get that sub pumping, man. You gotta get that sub. I get that sub pumping. One thing I really do like about your track is that you have a lot of dynamics in the overall song. So there's because of the dynamics, because of the difference between loudness and quiet and all the different movements throughout, there's a lot of feeling and a lot of emotion that you get from this, which is pretty rare. Usually we're all just like clipping our sounds all the way to the top and making things super distorted and over compressed. So that means dynamics are gone, and then we lose emotion, we lose feeling. So we have to find that fine balance in making our music. You have found a nice little balance here, but you just got to make sure that you have some proper layering to make the sounds full. So you're going to be layering mono and stereo. You're also going to be layering lows, mids, and highs frequencies. Those will all equal up to a full sound, and then you just manage loudness from there. You clean up frequencies with EQ, and you make sure your sub, which is 100 hertz and below, is really nice and fat and usually separate from these basses so that you can have full control of it. The violin strings and all the brasses, the whole orchestral element of this is really good, and them playing in the background of the drop adds a lot more movement, and it doesn't make those basses as repetitive as they would be if those melodic elements were missing. So that's really helpful.
You don't want the smoke.
You can work on the pre-drops, you know, layering these things, making them sound a little bit bigger, fuller. That's a really important part of your song. So you just want to make sure that you have good transition periods into the drop there. Sections like this can have the sub like continue to go. We just dropped out of the drop. So this is kind of an abrupt transition, just removing so many elements. So you kind of want to leave like at least the sub. We can kind of maybe fade out of the sub and transition to a breakdown or something. And then like, this is just big issues here. Just the timing is completely off. I wouldn't really expect that. You have to make sure that your timing is always on point, especially when we're like locked into a grid. You know, we're not making classic rock where we can change the BPM and change the rhythms and speeds all the time. Not yet anyways. Once you're at the advanced level, you can start doing that. But for now, sticking to the grid, sticking to the timing, make sure everything sounds on time with your metronome so that things don't compete with the other rhythmic elements around it, such as your drums. You know, your basses and the melodic element should be like in rhythmic harmony with the drums. They're having a good time. They're dancing, having a fun time. Cool, man. Good. I like it. I like the vibes, like the feelings. It made me feel really good in a lot of sections. So I think that's really important. Continue on it. Try to make it as professional as you can and use reference tracks. If you need help with anything, you could just reference other tracks to see what the pros are doing and then kind of learn some new techniques. Alrighty. Up next, we got number 2. This one's Broken Link. This one needs SoundCloud links. So we're skipping here to Scandalous Forgotten Consonants. Check out this cover out. Classic. Let's get it done for the get done. Turn it giddy. Why are heads bouncing, you may ask? Because people are pouncing, dancing, mosh pitting. They're in the walls of death. Heads be bouncing. It's a simple fact. Y'all know this. Give her a little round of applause. It was a nice fun time. Ooh, that was Scandalous coming in hot with Forgotten Consonants. Man, I have to tell you, I wasn't expecting that high energy. It felt good, man. We had some chords coming in for the second drop. We used some techniques that usually are really hard to do, and he did them. We're going to go over those. Very fun. Some of the sections come into like -1 peaking on the leafage. Some of these sections, the average is like around -4, -3, which is good. We just want to double check and make sure that like little fill sections or little tiny sections don't get too super loud and they're just like prepared for the club, you know? Anyways, when we get into the drop, we have some nice processing with the sub and the guns. Things sound full.
Make your head bounce, break your neck.
Good little fake out here. It's really cool. We like rise in pitch. It's a cool, unique fake out. Actually, we don't even really rise in pitch. We just have risers in the background. Now, keep in mind, see these like dynamic shifts. It's like super loud and then we almost get completely silent. These are really important with making the flow and adding a lot of energy and impact. So this is done well. Obviously, call, response. That's the call. We got a nice response here. Nice fill section. So about this would be our phrase, right? Easy, nice little 4-bar loop. This is a fun time, you know, nice flow, lots of movement, lots of energy. That's what we need, you know. There's good use of calls and fills here, but when we get to the end here, we kind of like forget about a fill. And I think it's really important, especially at the last phrase right before our breakdown, that we have a really prominent fill here to just finish the drop. Make it sound professional. Cool. That sounds a little bit run on. You could definitely work on that. And then when we get like later on here, we stop using calls, you know, call and response is kind of thrown out the window. Guns are just starting to like repeat over time and becomes a little bit messier. You know, the impact and the overall intensity of that gun fades away once you just start to blare it out over and over and over again. Our ears get used to the frequency. So if we just keep going back and forth between different flows, energies, frequencies, and then going back to that response space, it'll feel new and fresh every time, just like a fill in the blank. It's a done deal. But hear that chord? That is a beautiful call, and I'm really happy to hear that at least at the beginning of the drop, you had some sick, nice, new type of call that you used to transition into the guns. It gets a little messy rhythmically here. You know, there could be some work. Less is more. Simplicity is key. But I'm happy with how you were able to transition these really vibey melodic chords and then pitch it back down and then get us right back in, transitioned well back into the basses and the heaviness. That's hard to do. I'm happy that you did that well. Very fun. Very good. Good job, man. What's that good done? Scandalous. Forgotten consonants. Next, we have J-Wubs with 222. Ha! That's a 222. This looks like a riot. This looks like the burning of the disco records. I hope it's not that. We shall see. Let me show you guys my samples that I have. These are all the packs I use. This has the artist packs. Lots of goodies. And then I also have this, a whole set for Cashmere. These are so important. Need all these. Let's go. go. We got JWubs coming in with the 222. So there are some things we can work on this. Important things. Two of the most important things would be baseline progression in the first drop. Making the baseline change over time, kind of like adding new fillings, new movements. Right now the bass, that sub bass is just staying like the same note. So it gets pretty, like, it just gets stale over time, you know? Energy starts to digress because of that over time. So you just want to be careful with that. Then the second drop, we kind of have some flow issues. So this bass that you have brought in here, down, 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 down. So that sound gets pretty repetitive over time. We're faking it out right here too. Now you gotta understand, like, this is just a bass that's playing. There's not any movement or call and response action, as I would say. When I say call and response, I just mean that you're creating movement between different basses. You're creating a story, right? Because they're talking to each other. Your sounds are talking to each other, but right now you're just playing one sound. It's just one sound playing. So there's no one's talking to anyone. There's one sound playing. So you got to have like back and forth between sounds or feelings or movements so that you can create some interest here. Now the only thing you do is add drums, and we can't really just get away with that anymore. Back in the day with like EDM trap, I don't know if you remember the good old days, right? We were just throwing us on a sub on our drop, and it'd be like, oh my god, there's a sub on the drop, oh, because it was so new, right? Before then it was just house music, it was just techno, it was Moonbatone, you know what I'm saying? And then Flashodamus comes over here with Original Dawn. He drops that Original Dawn Flashodamus remix, and then all of a sudden we're high energy dancing to some 808 trap drums, huge sub bass in the festival, and no one's ever felt this. No one's ever heard this. This is some crazy new shit. So I say this to say that this would have worked 10 years ago when people just heard this sound for the first time. You could do anything and just add the 808, but now we can't, because it's just like we've heard 10 years of music that's made like this. So many artists have evolved to the point where they've showed us new ways of flow, new ways of dancing, higher energy levels when we're creating these tracks. So sticking to this energy level, which is very low, just won't work unless you're trying to make something very, very trippy, very wookie, something that you can completely get lost to while you're like doing drugs, you know what I'm saying? Which is a whole different set of genre of dubstep that we do, but you know, we're not really doing either of those there. So I know what route you're trying to do, high energy. So remember, call, response, fill within a 4-bar phrase. Your whole drop is 16 bars. That means there's 4 phrases within your 16 bars. So each 4 bars, which is 4 total, each 4 bars has call, response, fill. That's how you'll create the movement and get everyone dancing. Your fake out will also have that call and response motion, just without the drums. And then boom, you add those drums, you have a good time, everyone dancing. And then most importantly, the rhythm and the melody doesn't get repetitive over time, so that we can just keep on hearing new, fresh rhythmic qualities. Very nice, very fun, very good. Let me know if you need any help with that. Just hit me up in the Discord if you have questions about anything that I just said there, and I will help you, mister. That is JWubs. And that is 222. What does 222 mean? We don't know. Up next, Dracula Rhythm. This is quite exquisite. This looks like it's from Exquisite. That is exquisite. Wow. Whoa. I'm in a loop. Let's go.
This shit ain't nothing to me, man. My money longer than James Cameron. We getting that Pirate Bay alien shish kebab cordyceps money. Smoking the Qui-Gon Jinn Vietnamese Phillips head runs. Stop playing with me.
Hold up.
Stupid piece of shit.
Bounce. Ooh. Ah, ah, ah.
I don't give a shit. Nigga Blake and Tempe shirtless in a loincloth, blowing bareback asshole out smoking aqueduct filtered churn. I'm smoking Mesopotamian Stanley Cup Triple Award winning soul bleeder, taint blaster, JD Power Associates, Dingleberry Zaza. I bawled so hard they thought I was a fucking nutsack.
Huh?
I got Midas touch, fuck boy. Caught a broke boy trying to come up on my Amazon package, so I skinned his ass alive. You smoking Sergi Bacasano, refuse quick release perks. Fuck boy.
Oh, what?
Stupid piece of shit.
Hey, what the heck? Bounce, bounce. Hold up, hold up. Come on.
I don't give a shit.
That shit plugged in though. Oh. 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 Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's go. We got some vibes in here, my gosh. We got a boom, boom. I'm liking that. Very nice on the vibes. We have a nice bed of just like, I'm imagining myself at Red Rocks listening to this, just like, boom, boom, kind of getting all worked out a little bit. Thing is, though, we're pretty quiet. -9 LUFS is the loudest we are, which is in the drop, which is really quiet. House songs are louder than that, and we just got to make sure we're a little bit louder than the house song, basically. So you want to be like -6 LUFS, right? Maybe you can pass with a -7 LUF, but -9 LUF is pretty quiet for this type of song genre. You want to be able to at least match what everyone else is making in this sort of range. Because this is a range that's being done successfully by many different people, and it's such a good range. It's something we were just talking about, you know, some of those wiki times. Most importantly, the flow and overall energy is something that needs to be improved upon. When we're in the drop, as soon as the drop hits, it should feel like super impactful. The most is the climax of the song, so it should be like, oh, that was the drop. You know, that's the whole reason people love EDM, because of the drop. But the reason why the drop is so amazing is because of the impact you feel when the drop hits. And the more impact you'll get, all depends on how the transition is from the build up to that drop. So let's go ahead and check this one out.
I got Midas touch, fuck boy. Caught a broke boy trying to come up on my Amazon package, so I skinned his ass alive. You smoking surgery vodka, spinal fluid infused quick release perks. Fuck boy. Bitch.
Okay, so lots of things going on here. But what we should be thinking about is how the energy transitions, right? Build up just finished. As soon as the build up finishes, we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, waiting for the drop. All right, so let's do that real quick.
You smoking surgery vodka, spinal fluid infused quick release perks.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Energy rises. Yeah. And then boom, we should drop there. Okay. Energy is at peak energy right here, right? Man, my mouth is watering for a drop. This is like, you know when you're at Chili's and you smell those fajitas? It's like that. But right here in this time frame. But dude, instead of giving us that hot, spicy, beautifully prepared fajitas from our American favorite Chili's, you give us a longer fake out. And because of this longer fake out, it actually rewinds the trick and does the opposite and starts to decrease the energy. Like people are waiting, and then like they're still waiting, and then it's like, okay, when is it gonna drop? We don't know. Sometimes people do 8-bar fake outs, so we never know. We're just gonna have to chill here, and all of a sudden the drop comes, and by the time the drop comes, that tension that you build up is gone. And that was the most important thing. That is the most important thing in EDM. So like these fake outs, you have to be very careful with. You can make them long if you make it work. Every song is going to demand a different rhythmic timing, different feelings, energies, depending on all the elements of the song. So it's not always the same. It's not always 2 bars or 4 bars or 8 bars. You're going to have to experiment with them all and see what your song wants. But with this song, when we listen to the build-up and we feel the transition coming to us, we're feeling like the drop needs to be right here. And then on top of that, you would add a little fillage, maybe a little vocal fill right before the drop to have it hit super impactful. Instead, like I mentioned, we went double fake out. And you just started speeding it up here, which unfortunately isn't adding any energy because the energy is decreasing in this moment of time. Then when the drop should be coming, you do another little mini fake out. So these are like tricks that you hear in rhythm all the time, but you have to make sure you do them successfully in the time periods that the song is requesting. Right now, you did a little mini fake out at the wrong time. You did it right after you added an extra fake out, which changed the energy of the song. So these are things to look after. These are things all of you should think of when making your songs too. These are easy fixes though, my guys. Easy fixes, easy timings, fun time. I am really liking the flowage, overall flowage. You're like changing rhythmic over time. You like automate different things over time. So we stay interested, and which is really important. And then once we transition to these sections,
I don't give a shit. You go Blake and Teppy shirtless in a loincloth.
shit's really clean. Like the sustain, like guitar in the background. It's just vibes, man.
You go Blake and Teppy shirtless in a...
And the sub keeps rolling, you know, so we're just like, to the sub. And just like feeling the vibes. This is really nice.
bareback asshole out.
Even that, the lyrics are funny too. So that sounded nice, professional, good, very nice, very nice. Keep it up, keep it up. Let me know if you have any questions about anything I said about that. But you know what it is. We rolling up in a Cadillac. We stopped, went to the grocery store, picked up the Hemi song. The Hemi song, you look on the tag, it says, "Can I get a?" And then it says in parentheses next to the price tag, clip. Interesting. We shall see what this is. We shall see what we have been given.
Think twice.
Okay then. That's quick energies. This is cool. Nice idea here. Funny idea. This is an idea that would get a lot of plays. I'm kind of like foreseeing the future based off what's happening and trending around like the music industry. You make these little funny meme tracks, guys, you guys are going to be successful. It's that plain and simple. Get creative. Get pumping. But this song needs more sub. This song needs more impact. It's like almost the mid basses are super distorted and like taking up the whole mix, and our sub is like kind of small and just chilling in the back. And really, that sub should be commanding, dominant, running that mix, while the mid basses are like, "Dang, dude, I'm big too, but dang sub." Basically, in this type of track right here, it needs that. It's just huge sub, because in the club and at the festivals, that feeling of those low frequencies being boosted, saturated, and cleaned up is what's gonna make those mosh pits. People are gonna be running in circles. They're gonna be going so crazy. They're gonna be like, ah! They could be just running in circles. You didn't even have to ask them to run in circles. They just straight up started running in circles and made a circle pit of death because of your frequency. So congratulations, you leveled up to the next round. Let's check out the flow. So we have nice fills, but we're lacking on calls. We're like kind of treating the kick clap, like double kick clap as a call, which just really doesn't work like that. So because the lack of calls, if we listen to this whole phrase, it starts to get repetitive and boring over time. The energy decreases because we just keep hearing this same thing over and over and over again. But if you added some calls and started switching it up a little bit, remove maybe one of these, then you'll add more movement, and you can keep this going twice the length, which you're going to need to do. You know, this is 8 bars, so that's what's going to need to happen. You also can change up the rhythmic elements here. You know, they're all quarter notes. You can start changing it up a little bit, but you can only go so far doing that. So just make sure you have a nice call response flow, and you'll be good to go. Get people dancing as much as possible. We want circle pits of death. We want walls of death. If it doesn't have death in the name and the dance, bro, we don't want it. I don't know what you're talking about, dog. We don't want that. I need to plug in my iPad so I can see the chat. Give me 1 second. Gotta plug in that. Gotta plug in that pad. Plug in that pad. What you know, I didn't get it from my dad. I got the iPad coming in, yeah. Who's your lad? It's an iPad. Alright, guys. Up next, we got Siege on the we got Siege on the ones and twos. He submitted a song called Freak. One can only imagine what this song sounds like. But instead of talking about such said song, we shall listen to the frequencies with our eardrums. Run it back. Siege. Siege. I want another one of those. Dun, 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 pa, pa. I gotta hit that shit one more time. Hold up. That was even better than I remembered it. Damn. All right. Okay, cool. So we coming in hot. She's coming in hot real quick with some quarter note. Well done with the energy. We're gonna check the LUFS real quick and make sure we're not at a crazy level or too quiet. Also. That's exquisite. Very nice. That is a good LUF volume. You know, -3 really should be the loudest we're getting. That's still really loud in general. So this is nice to see. Plus it doesn't sound like distorted or too like unwanted frequencies are just pouring out. So that's also good. If you start to turn it up a little bit, then if you have a good interface, you have a huge range that you can work with. And if you start turning it up a lot, you can start to tell the differences between your elements in your mix, right? Once you start to turn up a lot in the interface, you can kind of see that the mids are really loud compared to the sub. So maybe you can turn down the mids a little bit, turn the sub up a little bit, try to rebalance so that that sub can feel a little bit more powerful in the mix. Not saying it's like quiet or anything, but if we were to have this turned up super loud in the club, for example, almost full volume, right? Then that's where you would feel these differences in volume the most. We just want to be prepared for that. Do club tests if you can. Car tests can only go so far. If you're at the club, they have 4 subs, huge subs lined up in a row. That's going to make a huge difference compared to your one sub in your car. Or if you don't have a sub at all and you're just using headphones. So keep those things in mind. We're making bass music. Sub is the most important thing. Sub bass 100 hertz below. We need a shirt that says sub bass is my hoe. It's a done deal. All right, guys. Siege, good job. Lots of flow, lots of good things. Please use the strings more in your fills, and please fix this string transition right here. Overall transition to this build up sounds abrupt, doesn't really make sense. You can work on that for sure, make it good. Otherwise, nice flow, good call and response. That's what we like to see today. Good shit, man. Siege coming in hot once again. Oh yeah, I always forgot to say vocals in the intro. when you're hearing that sustained, elongated, like instrument, sounds like from India, or even like a flute or something with the sick drums, it's a perfect time to put like some like tribal, ethnic vocals in here. Maybe stuff from India. Try to see if you could fit anything in, maybe something spiritual, you know? Maybe some ritual type stuff, you know, just crazy. That would take it to the next level, I think. Coolio McCoolio. Up next, we have Sinesta with a big whip. Oh. What? This ain't small. This ain't medium. We have Sinesta coming in with a big WIP, where WIP means work in progress. That means he's a big work in progress. That's a big work in progress. Let's check it out. That's a bit spicy. Looks like someone just ordered some wonton soup, extra hot. But there are some things in the wonton soup that shouldn't be there. Some things, they kind of put too much pepper in the wonton soup, you know? The spice is nice. Boy, we love that spice. But a little bit too much of that pepper. What do I mean by pepper? I mean the sub is too loud. It's creating mud. It's overpowering every single sound. And it sounds blown out, which is a really, really unwanted sound. You don't want frequencies to sound like this. So you got to be very careful on the amount of clipping that you're doing, on the levels of your sub. You should really be monitoring the LUFS of your sub. The output of that sub when it's finished and going to your master should be like -9, -8 LUFS. Anything more than that, you'll see if you test in the club, it starts to sound very odd, blown out. You want to experiment with club tests and your sub and just seeing what makes sense. The sub we have to know is the most powerful frequency. It's the only frequency that can literally travel through these walls, right? The mids and highs don't from the car. But if that car has a sub, it's coming through our wall. We're filling those lows. So these are the most powerful frequencies, and we don't perceive them properly because we don't have a subwoofer in our, like we don't have a straight up sub. So like we think it's quiet and then we turn it up and then we have these issues, which is very common in our genre, especially dubstep based music. So just remember these things. These things will help you. You want the cleanest mix possible. Find that fine balance of distortion, clippage, while still keeping that clean, loud mix. That is what will make you top tier A-list celebrity Skrillex, Diplo, Justin Bieber, or whoever you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Get it done with the get done. Lastly, and most importantly, there are sections where we have like, it feels like it's a main section of the drop, you know, but it feels like half of the sub is missing, which really lowers the energy level and it feels very odd. It feels like there's an empty space available. Later on in these sections, we start to run it deep and nice. Let's go ahead and check it. So like the bass is moving with one of the basses, so like it's like wobbling, wugging, but we're not feeling the lows like we should. It's almost like the lows are cut or the lows are too distorted, so we don't feel the lows anymore. And we just have to make sure that there's clean sub bass. If you want it to move, you can make sure that happens, but the more movement there is, lower the volume gets. You have to turn it back up, compensate for those things. And we just have to like, you know, really feel this sub so that when we transition to here, it doesn't feel so different. Like the sub is full volume here, and then it's like half sub here. So let's see if we can feel the difference. Now I must say, this is some spicy. This is my favorite part of the song once you transition to this section right here. You know, this makes me really happy. You know, this is the stuff that I love. Like, it's like that prosecute style, like, it's just one thing though is the mid basses sound kind of low volume compared to the sub. So you want to maybe add a little multiband dynamics, the cleanest compression you can find, turn it up a little bit, make sure you can feel it in that mix. Yeah, and that's a fun time. That rhythmic quality makes me want to dance like as heavy as possible. And I think that's a goal you should be getting, making people dance like a crazy person. Make people throw all morals and values out the window and dance like... That's why I love this dance music, man, because you let loose. You say, fuck everyone. Fuck what people think about me. Every day, everyone's whirling around caring about what people think. But all you gotta do is dance. All right, cool. Up next, we got Prophecy. As a castaway, we shall see if he is a castaway. H2O.
This is who you made me when you cast me away. Now apologize.
What it is or what it ain't.
You're a bad man, and I'm not. I'm much worse than that. You're gonna be more than sorry unless you tell me everything. You must atone for what you've done. Stop!
I got something to say. Get off my chest. I ain't no castaway. Cool. Alright, guys. You see what it is. We got Prophecy coming in with some vibes. Castaway. Cover art. Check it out real quick. Cover art. So apparently, some dude got casted away. You know, we can hear it right here.
You can't stay away. You can't stay away.
So we have a main character here. We have a story in this song, which is really, I think, important. You know, it's not just frequencies being played. There's like vocals. There's a story. We have the overall main melody, like boom, 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 boom. Now that main melody riff is played a lot throughout a lot of the sections of the song, so it gets repetitive. You want to switch up that melody riff in different sections so that it can stay new and fresh as the song progresses in time. Main bass lead overall needs layering, like the sustained bass is playing. That sustained bass is almost not as loud as the melody. So like even that little sussy right there, that little fill, like those things are higher volume than your main bass leads. Those should be the star of the show. They should have the spotlight. They need to be layered in a way so that mono is filled up, stereo is filled up, lows, mids, highs are filled up. So that you fill out the frequency spectrum and you fill the stereo image. That will get you a full sound. It'll sound loud. Then you can turn it down a little. You have a little bit of headroom. Your full track's at -7, peaking on the left, so you have some room to get louder on this song, and you should. All the main bass leads in the second drop as well need to be treated this way. And then like you have some sections where we have some cool little ideas, like this. Dun, 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 dun. You can keep running this for a little bit. You can have a new phrase, a 4-bar phrase, right? 4-bar phrase, and then you want to make this little kind of the star. Maybe this is the response bass. You can go call something different, and then bum 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 bum, and then switch back, get a little bit heavy. You know, that's nice. That's a fun time. Right now, you're kind of going back and forth too fast with all these basses, so we don't have time to like settle into a sound. And I think it's important that you have a proper flow, song arrangement, phrasing. It's real important. It will help you in your journey to success. Yes. Okay. Very good, very good. Prophecy, Castaway. Up next, we got a bad boy track by Scaniel. Scaniel. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's get it done. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I have something to tell you.
Bad boy sound.
Okay, don't know what that was, but okay. That's a crazy last 2 seconds of the song. But congratulations. We have a nice little vibe going on here. We have some energy. We have a really cool, which inspires me, a SMR vocal.
I have something to tell you.
Like the impact that this has on the pre-drop after hearing something really loud and then kind of like, it's almost like we're zooming into her face, right? And it gets quiet and like she speaks like this. ASMR shit in EDM, I think, might be something big in the future because it's just that's a lot of energy right there, man.
I have something to tell you.
I gotta say though, overall flow could be improved upon. I mean, the overall energy when we hit the drop just seems like a little bit medium and not super high energy. And I think that's the reason, because like this almost feels like something you would add later on in a drop, maybe at a later phrase, when we like slow things down and keep it dirty. But we just built the tension. We had the sick pre-drop. Energy is at the high right now. We need the drop to deliver with the highest quality dance that you can provide, and then you can save these slow, heavy sections where people can just like for the later phrases, and then you can go back and forth between the fast and the slow. Otherwise, the overall just like dance of the track will be halftime. You know, we don't want that. We need it to be full. We need it to be 140, not 70. People don't want to be dancing at half the time of the BPM when the drop hits. Oh, Lord have mercy. Like, see how I'm dancing? That's the rhythm you're giving us the dance to. All right, that's half the speed, which is fine. You can do that, but later on in the phrases would make a huge impact. We dance to 140, first half of the drop, boom, you switch at halftime, boom, boom, then you switch it back. This is stuff that has been done for decades in metal and, you know, rock. So you can study those genres to see how they do it. They even speed up, you know, double the time of 140. So the drummers will be going in 280, going crazy as hell. And everyone's just looking at the drummer like, damn, dude, chill. But that's all good. That's all fun and games. Remember too, like once you get advanced, you can start speeding things down, speeding things up. Real music isn't locked into a BPM at 140. Real music has lots of dynamics, super loud, super quiet. Real music has like different BPM changes. It goes super fast and then it slows down in rhythm. But like as DJs, we have to stick into these grids so that it can be playable in the club. So you go back and forth, you know. Once you get into that level of just being a musician, you can make whatever the hell you want. But if you want people to share your music in the clubs and the festivals, you want to stick to these grids so that it's easy to DJ, easy to mix. These things are important for us anyways, as performing disc jockeys. Mr. Disc Jockey, what's your name? Oh, my name is Disc Jockey Drip. What's your name? My name is have you ever had a dream that you had, you, would you, could you, do you, we you? Oh, I know damn right you trolling motherfucker. You know, I'll read this title 14 times. But you know what? Not today. It's a done deal. Looks like we have a submission from Zach Attack called Have You Ever Had a Dream? This is the submission. We shall listen. What you missing?
Every single word on my exes, it weighs me down. Running off
Let them know. Let them know. Oh shit.
It was beautiful. I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, they do. Well, that's a nice little message at the end. I'm gonna run that little message. That's a little love letter
It was beautiful. I wouldn't change a thing.
to the track. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. All right, so there's a lot of different things here that we can work on. This is overall a cool idea. I'm really happy that we have some vocals adding a lot of emotion and overall like quality to the track. Some things that are happening to make the sound, or the song, I should say, sound lower quality than it should be. One of the main things is having cohesion in your song. So if you, like, just imagine, we have all these presets, all these sounds that we download. If we're just randomly throwing stuff in, we will have a drop that just sounds like random basses are playing. They don't sound like they're related to each other. There's no cohesion between your sounds. This is really important. You can make a patch and then duplicate the patch and slightly change that patch in Serum. And then all of a sudden you have two basses that are similar to each other that come from the same, like, mom and dad, which are the wavetables. And you can easily get away with those two sounds working together in the mix. Now, you don't always have to have every single sound work together, right? The sustain basses, for example, are going to be new sounds that are introduced to, like, make a difference in the overall sound. But if we just have a lot of different sounds coming at you, it's going to feel like out of place. Right now, it's kind of sounding like that. A lot of these basses don't have the same loudness, so some are louder than each other, some are completely different tones than they should be. The frequencies that are being played kind of need to be in harmony. That's why we stick to the scale, stick to the notes in our scale. So we use the root note a lot so that we can just do these tricks so that we can achieve harmony within the song. But on top of the harmony, the movement between each basses is important. So if we have one bass playing and then another bass comes and then another one comes, they all kind of have to sound similar if you post-process them the same. So if you have like the same loud rack on both of them, this is a step towards getting them to sound similar because, you know, they have the same effects, or maybe they're processed in a way where they have the same tone or energy or volume. These things will help. Just a lot of mixing, training your ears is going to be key. And also, at first, if you want to just like use one patch, one Serum patch, duplicate it like 4 times and make 4 different versions of that patch, maybe different speeds, different sounds, different pitches, then you'll have like 4 sounds that are relatives that will work very well together in the drop. And then maybe like 80-90% of your sounds need to be very similar so that they all flow, cohesive. And then you sprinkle in a little bit of those weird different sounds to catch the audience off guard and make sure things don't get repetitive. Other than that, it looks like the breakdown here So like the vocal is so important. The instrument of our voice is by far the most important instrument in this whole planet. It's the most diverse. It's the one that connects to our soul the most. If a voice is plain, especially singing like this, we need her to have the spotlight, be the star of the show. There really shouldn't be a bass in the background just wubbing and playing at a very repetitive motion. And he's like trying to, it's like that bass is competing with the beautiful vocalist. It's like you're at the party and the singer's singing, and then all of a sudden you have this guy with the electronic synth, and he just rolls up. And he's like, dun, 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 dun. Check it out. Check it out. And the singer's like looking at this guy with the synth, the keyboard synth to the left, and he's just like, dun, 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 dun. And she's like, what are you doing, bro? It's not your time. That's basically what's going on. So just remember, the mix is important. If you want something to be playing in the background like that, you use an EQ8. You remove a majority of the frequencies so that her high frequencies can shine through, breathe, so that she becomes the star of the show. And that becomes like something in the back supporting. But overall, overall flow of a bass like that is important too. So keep that in mind. Rhythmic timing, you gonna get it right. I know you got that. Last thing too, the crashes, beginning crashes, you can turn those down too. Those are pretty loud as well, like those tops. Coolio, McCoolio. That's Zach Tech coming in with, have you ever had a dream that you would ooh. Very nice. Looks like we have a very evil song coming up next. Demonic vibes are hot in this one. We got Open the Gates. The gates to what? We don't have that answer here. But we shall find out with the frequencies being played by Acesso. Let's go. Yes, sir. Open up. It's your maker. Okay, we got an evil song coming in hot. Evil song coming in hot. Open the gates. We've set a nice atmospheric vibe that is dark and hot. Acesso submitted the track. I gotta tell you, Acesso is my friend. We make music together. We DJ together. But I want to also keep it real, keep it level, make sure that we're all improving. The intro to this sounds nice. Cool. So we've been talking about this a lot. Overall transition to the drop. The amount of energy that's created at the climax moment of our song is the most important thing. So we use a fake out here. Intro sounded nice and clean, creating a nice dark energy. We have a good build up with the vocal build. Instead of dropping it, we do this fake out. We're rising in pitch. We're creating more tension and energy. This is done well here. But then we transition to the drop, which this is as soon as we get to this point, this is where the quality of the song kind of goes down a couple notches. The overall energy and dynamics of the song is not there. Dynamics is probably the most important thing we want to focus on here. If we can't tell that there's a difference between loud and quiet and everything feels loud, then it'll sound too distorted. It'll sound like the frequencies are getting old over time. If we're switching between loud and quiet and have a good dynamics in the mix, then things will feel nice and fresh. It'll sound clear. And it's really important because this fill right here, if you listen to it, it's like a really loud fill. It's been loud for a very long time before this point. The whole buildup is loud. The fake out, the pre-drop is loud. So we don't have a dynamic shift here to silence. Then the fake out is super mega loud. So like the drop should be the loudest part. The drop should be the first section of the song where it's so loud and powerful that like, boom, it just hits you, you know? But what you've done to our ears up to this point is just blast us with loudness, blast us with the frequencies that are usually supposed to be reserved and played at full volume in the drop. Because of that, we get to the drop and all the impact is low. We're just now getting hit with just lots of new sounds and it starts to become almost distorted, muddy. It feels like the frequencies are competing and the overall mix sounds squashed. And it really seems like it sounds like you're sending all of the signals and all of your groups just straight to the master without properly EQing all your individual tracks. And because of that, we have lots of frequencies just stacking on top of each other. The subwoofer, the sub bass is competing with a lot of the mid frequencies in the majority of your layers. And this is just creating a lot of issues with the overall dynamics, clarity, quality, and overall energy to the song, which you have to work on, man. You have to get this stuff right. You have to EQ each individual track. You need to train your ears so that you understand what frequencies are shitty frequencies, like mud frequencies are 100 to 300 hertz. These should be maintained. These should be treated with high care. You need to understand that there's harsh frequencies in the range from like 1,000 and up. We want to make sure that we're layering up there, but at the same time, we can't be blasting people with frequencies that are harsh to the ears. And then lastly, that sub bass 100 hertz and below is going to be demanding. It's going to take up the whole mix. It's going to be the most powerful. It's going to be hungry for oxygen. So we have to just make sure that like the sub has enough room, has enough space, has enough breathing power so that all the other basses can fit nice and smooth. And lastly, if you're sending all your signals directly to the master, things will be crowded. The frequencies will compete for space and we will lose the dynamics of our song and everything will sound like it's clipping to zero. And we won't be able to tell that there's a difference between loudness and quiet. So it's super important that you have fills that are silent and quiet, that your drums, your basses, your melodics sound like separate from each other. They need to sound like they live in their own space. And that's what proper bussing will do. So make sure you're using bussing, make sure you're EQing properly, and make sure you're not over compressing either. If you are going too hard on those compressors, glue compression, multiband dynamics, OTT, you're squashing the sound, you're killing dynamics. So you have to find a good balance between those things too. That's about it. You have the sound design, you have the flow. We now have to make a clean, clear mix so that there's energy, otherwise it'll just sound like the frequencies are blasted to zero and there's not really any movement between amplitude. We want to feel like the quiet and then it boom, get blasted. That will be the key to your success. Cool. Open the gates, Acesso. Next, Guy with the Shooting Stars ID. You know me? I see a Shooting Stars ID. You may be in glee, but I say, hey, I don't need a pee. I already peed over there. You see, I'm over there with a new chair. Herman Miller, Logitech, 2000 at the fair. Shooting Stars ID. Guy say go. Let's do it. Guy.
I'm good, let's go.
Feeling those highs. That's Guy coming in with a Guy song called Guy Shooting Stars ID Guy. That's my friend. I like Guy. So I shall give you the feedback that you need to proceed. Let's get it. So overall, loudness of the song needs to be louder. We're about negative 7.8 lufs, which means we're about negative 8 lufs. It's very quiet. That means house songs are louder than you right now. We don't want to, dude. You can't let Dom Dowla get louder than you. He's about like -6 luff. You should be at about -6 luff at least. Get up there. One of the main things that needs to be focused on in your song is overall sub bass intensity. Put a luff meter on your sub. If it's under the single digits, like if it's like -18, -21, that's an issue. We need that thing to get loud. Get it to like -10, -8. Make sure that sub bass is bigger. Use saturation to make a sine wave super clean. Turn the saturator all the way up or halfway up. Add a low pass. Only let the lows pass through on the EQ8. And then you'll clean it up, and then you have a loud, fat sub bass that you can use. Then you just level it from there. Easy, quick sub bass for the fun time. But when we're listening to these wigglies, check out the wiggles. So the wiggles come into the show, but the sub bass is not wiggling at a loud enough feeling.
Good, let's go.
It almost sounds like, yeah, I think the sub bass is being sustained and not wiggling at all, actually. So that is not a good time. We need a good time. We need this sub bass to be doing the same LFO as these basses. So when they wiggle with it, it creates more dynamics. It creates more intensity. It'll feel better. It'll make sense because it's in complete harmony. Lots of pluses when you do that. Now, it's not required. In later phrases, you may sustain the sub bass and kind of switch it up from the wiggles if you want to. But just whatever rhythm you do with your sub bass, make sure that the majority of the rhythms you do are matching the rhythms of your basses up here. And then you want overall like flow. You know, right now we're just letting the wiggles just go haywire. We don't want haywire wiggles. We need proper organized wiggles. So it's like the sounds just like keep playing. There's like not a break when there should be. We will get tired of the same wiggles and frequencies playing over time. The energy will decrease. We want to keep things new and fresh. So work in 4-bar phrases, create a nice flow, get used to practicing, making a call and response within a 4-bar phrase. You may extend it out to an 8-bar phrase. And then you can start making your own call and response methods after that and start breaking every rule possible because there are no rules. But we need to practice what's worked in the past, and we need to just practice flow, getting people to move more with these songs. And you're going to need to do that with call and response here. This is our call. And then as soon as that response is done, which is about right here, we should have a fill, a break from it, like silence, a vocal, a drum fill, and then we get back into it. But instead of getting back into a call and response, we kind of just keep it responding, keep it going. So we definitely need to work on proper structure within a 4-bar phrase. It will help so much, especially when we get to this last. Things feel very chaotic. Feel like you're just randomly letting things play. There's no structure. There's no dancing flow in here. So we got to work on the call and response, shift that knowledge to the second drop, and then you'll be able to get a lot more energy here. And by the time we're here, people won't be tired of the basses that are being played. They're going to want more. We want them to play the song again after it's done, not just like be like, okay, it's finally done. These basses go super fast the whole time. So you have to slow down the rhythms, give people something new. Don't just keep spraying them with the same thing over and over and over again. Remember, repetition. If you repeat something, that means that we can predict it over time. The predictability goes high. If our brain can predict what's going to happen next in a musical piece, then the energy level goes down because energy is higher when we're surprised and things come when we least expect it. The best music is made like that. That's once again why there's a drop. As soon as that drop hits, boom, all that new crazy stuff happens. That's the point of EDM. We want to keep that energy, keep it high, keep them dancing, go to a square dance. Just kidding, guy. You didn't even go to square dance. Good job, guy. Shooting stars. Dean. Up next, Smiley. Huh. Got Smiley submitting something called Going Down. Now, we do not know the context that he is speaking when he is saying going down. We don't know that context. We may know if we listen to the frequencies, but we have in parentheses playable, which means to the smart and the wise that this song should be at a quality of at least 8 out of 10 qualities. Let's check it. Run it, Smileys. It looks like we have context. It is a young jock context. Let's continue.
It's going down. Meet me in the mall. It's going down. Meet me in the club. It's going down.
Wait, this is young jock, right? Let me know in the chat.
Meet me in the trail. It's going down. Meet me in the mall.
It's going down. Meet me in the club. It's going down. Anywhere you need me, guarantee it's going down.
Meet me
Go.
in the mall.
Yo, EDC. Go. Aye. Whoa.
Listen to the rhythm.
Hold up. That's like a refreshing can of sody pop. Yum yum. Boy, that shit was going down, man. That was some good context. Hold up. Young Jock in the chat? Young Jock in the chat? No one knows. No one knows hip hop. I expect nothing less out of you guys. So, Smileys submitting a hot heat banger, blowing up the eardrums, blowing up the sound. There's a huge difference in clarity and quality when it comes to the drop here. Lots of really good things taking place. The overall flow and energy is very impactful. As soon as we get to the drop, let's listen. We have this fake out. We didn't even really need the fake out. The hot energy was high, but we increased the energy a bit more and then delivered very well here. So let's check out the delivery. How does this deliver so well? Because of the transition from this call to the response. The call is followed by what I call the call buddy. And the call buddy, I feel like, is the most important part of the transition period. So we go like fake out, we get super loud here with distorted sub bass, hit it with the call buddy, which is the dynamic shift almost to silence, and then boom, you get blasted again. If it was 2 downbeats, right, like 2 of these, instead of the call buddy, then that would be an issue. So like overall energy is just not there. But with call buddy, just simply beautiful. And remember guys, the call is happening at the downbeat, the beginning of the drop. It goes and extends all the way to the 0.3 of the first bar, which is the snare. So the snare, the clap, or the clap, I should say, clap snare, same shit. The boom, that's what we're dancing to. That's what we headbang to. So as soon as the call buddy is done, we headbang down. Check it. Check my headbang. That's some clean headbang. Most importantly, we got nice fills, good transition elements. Each phrase has something new, spicy happening. Sub, I think the sub is changing in some phrases. But if you see, like, we're keeping the standard quarter note rhythm. Rhythm is the quarter note rhythm, if you know what I'm saying. So the majority of our dancing flow is quarter note rhythm, but then he's sprinkling in different speeds. This is how you do it. This is how you win. He put parentheses playable. I agree with him. I say this is a nice little 8.8. We need to finish it. The beginning of the song, I think maybe... Yeah, this can be improved for sure. Like add something new, like a new synth, a new like weird evil sound or something to keep this interesting and not just have the drums play with him. Sounds like he slowed down too from the original. So we just want to compensate for slowing him down too, if that's what happened. Once we get to the build up though and the fake out, everything starts to make sense, sound good. So those are the most important parts, dog. You're getting it done. Thank you for submitting. That's a good time. Keep it up. And I would keep remixing those songs. I don't know if this is a song that you loved as a child. It was for me. So keep doing that. You know, nostalgia. Nostalgia. Okay, we have two more. I need to download the last 15th track. Right now we're going to get into Angler's Flip. Go ahead and check this out, Angler Flip. We got Shroom Doom by Clesto. Shroom Doom, Angler Flip V2. Let's see what he has for us. Run that shit. I commence to the one and only. Whoa. Young Jock context. Oh, she. Oh, wrong song. Sorry.
Silence is the key psychoactive ingredient in magic.
We got a little spicy Angler, dude. Is your freaking your logo should be an angler fish. Is it? Angler, dude, you need like the most evil angler fish as your logo. That'd be sick as fuck, bro. I love that angler fish. It's like my favorite fish. You know, the one with the light. All right. Let's get into the track here. We have some nice, almost like atmospheric ambient vibes going on here. Let's check out the sub bass and the overall loudness of the mid bass is playing as well. We're at a good left volume, -6. This is good for this genre here. Sub bass is almost like the star of the show, followed by some nice color bass. The thing is, the color bass sounds very wide, and it almost sounds like we're losing a lot of the beef and the foundation that's in our mono signal for our mid basses, while the sub is just holding it down. So it's like the sub is not being layered well with anything in the middle. So maybe just look at the stereo image for that mid bass, keep the stereo, but also make sure we have something in the middle as well to just play in harmony with our sub. And fill it up too. If you put the song in mono, then you'll still be able to feel that awesome synth. The hat too is almost like as loud as the main sounds. So you can like turn that hat down or try to mix it in with some EQ so it's not so like demanding. So when we get here, like you're switching it up, but the overall flow, there's not a lot of call and response. So quickly, these sounds and these rhythms get repetitive over time. We really don't want that. We want to keep people interested, keep people dancing, keep people tripping, you know, and if you just keep repeating the same thing over time, once again, it'll get predictable. People will know what's already about to happen. And then the energy levels just won't continue to rise, which is really the goal. We want the energy to progress over time. Now we're having switches, right? But these are switches happening in long periods of time. So we like listen to this whole section, then we finally get a switch up. So we need a lot more movement happening. We need proper like fills to transition between phrases as well. That will really help with the overall flow. And then timing. So like you've delayed it to a point where it's almost off time, and you can do stuff like this, but it has to be like well balanced and placed in sections of the song that make sense. When we hit the climax here, just drop number 2, especially with literally having it almost silent, you have a great dynamic shift here. So we're expecting the timing that you've prepared us for here. If you've delayed it like you delayed them here, it would make more sense transition into the delayed bass. But if we're at regular timing, perfect timing here, we go almost silent with a pre-drop, and then you hit us with a drop and it's a whole different timing. That becomes very off-putting, and we have to switch up the dance at a moment where we were expecting to dance a certain rhythm. So things like that will cause issues. So let's see the dance. So here the dun dun dun, that's like 1, 2. So I'm like dancing like this, dun dun. So as soon as that drop hits, if I'm not still dancing like this, then I have to slow down, and then the vibes like have to slow down. So remember, transitioning between these things are super important. You're not just designing a 4-bar loop for a sample pack, you're making a composition, a piece of art that transitions from phrase to phrase. It's a done deal. Good job, Anglo. Killing it with that uniqueness, killing it with that trap, that sub. That's what I like to hear. Unique, good vibes, lots of dynamics, I think is super important. That's all Skrillex cares about, you know, nowadays. Them hot dynamics. All right, guys. We're on Fitza Resurgence. Let's go ahead and get it done with the get done. Yeah. yeah. Oh yeah. Let them know. I must say, that was quite exquisite. Looks like Fitza's coming in hot for the last song of the feedback stream, and I must say, we had some nice flow going on here. There's a couple things that need to be, like, I would say, looked upon. Maybe put a little magnifying glass on it, but overall, this is pretty sick. The flow, overall transitions of your sounds are good. Now, the thing about the background, like pluck, the reverb of it, the tail of it is competing with your dynamic shifts here. So when it starts to get more silence, that pluck almost stays at full volume. So that's the only thing that's like ruining the dynamics of a shift. So if you fix those tails, reverse them, froze them, see how long the tails are with the reverb and the delay, fade them out and kind of have those flow with the flow of the song, it'll make a big difference, because right now the whole song sounds almost sustained because of that, which it shouldn't. Overall, the basses, flows, overall clarity is good. When we get to this slower section, the sub bass is like sustained as well. So even though there's like movement between the mid basses, it feels like there's no movement because the sub is just like plain sustained the whole time. It's not changing at all. Check this. Like the sub should not just be playing the whole time. There should be some changes. There should be moving back and forth, little silences in the sub that match and flow with the mid basses that are playing above it. That's going to help a lot with making this slow section impactful. Right now, this slow section feels very out of place. It feels like it doesn't transition well from the first drop's energy. So I would really work on this section the most. When we get to the second drop, shit still stays heavy. So that's cool. I like that. We are see this waveform is like a brick. We don't see any dynamics. That's also an issue. We're going at -2 lefts. It's a little too loud. You may be over compressing a little bit. We want to preserve as much dynamics as possible in the drop so that when we're playing at full volume, it doesn't just sound like a brick of sound. It sounds like there is a difference between the loud parts and the quiet parts. That's a done deal. You guys are sick with it. Upload your tracks in this Discord live WIP feedback stream so that you guys can get into one of these videos. I want to check out your song. I wish I had time to do more than 15 today, but I don't. We got to keep working, keep grinding. You guys hit me up on my Discord or my Instagram if you have any questions about the feedback that I gave you today, or just any questions in general. Let me know what you guys need. Go to dripment.com if you need to book a lesson with me as well. Other than that, thank you guys for coming and joining. Stay fresh, keep it real, keep the bangers going. Peace out.